is 724-0008. Now, a bit of history for today, and we look at the blessing of the foundation of the first foundation stone of a new bell tower for the Florence Cathedral. It happened back in 1334 on this day. Mein Kampf was published on this day by Adolf Hitler. And his original title was the catchy 4.5 years of struggle against lies, stupidity, and cowardice. And that was published by Hitler in 1925. 1936, during the Spanish Civil War, General Francisco Franco issued a manifesto and led an uprising in the Spanish army stationed in Morocco. 2012, on this day, July the 18th, saw Kim Jong-un officially appointed as supreme leader of North Korea and given the rank of Marshal in the Korean People's Army. And in 2013, on this day, Detroit, Michigan filed for bankruptcy, become the largest U.S. municipal bankruptcy ever. And that was valued at 18.5 billion US dollars. We now move on to our dish of the day. The daily dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A plus. Need all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to my nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses Jugosile, and Flag Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program for today. And of course, we are still recovering from carnival fever. Lots of people are still trying to away the Vaval as they are trying to recuperate. And I think certainly the entire country is in this sort of mode at this point in time. Carnival certainly has become a tremendous undertaking, and based on the preliminary figures already being put out by the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, it was a record-breaking year with the estimate. Preliminary visitor arrival figures suggest that over 18,000 people came in for Carnival for this year, for the year 2024. That is a new record by a couple thousand. And so certainly it shows the tremendous and continuing growth of the Carnival product as a really important aspect within our cultural calendar, but of course, a very important tourism driver at this very moment. Now, of course, the results are in, and many people have been looking at those issues. Of course, sometimes debates over judging and the effectiveness of judging, and of course that happens nearly every single year. I take it in terms of Carnival, but of course a very important conversation to have nonetheless. In terms of the impact, as I mentioned, of course we saw heightened demand, heightened traffic, heightened demand for services of every kind or another, whether it's food and beverage, whether it was, getting around. And so we saw perhaps a tremendous pressure of our various infrastructure being stretched to the beyond the limit with respect to Carnival 2024. And it again speaks to the need of certainly the need for certain key investments moving forward as a country that really can certainly not be delayed any further. Now, one of them, of course, is that of the Castries Grosley Highway. Uh, that was clearly very visible over the Carnival week with tremendous amount of traffic and traffic pressure. And many people simply just decided not to be able to go anywhere. But of course, it's even beyond the main corridor of the Castries Grosley Highway, but also the fact is a major part of that highway between Shock is, well, down into the city center is being utilized and is being cordoned off for the parade. And so the need for the ability to divert or to find other routes into the city and around the city comes into question. One of them, of course, is the Union, well, let's take it from the Marisil, Grand Riviere, Union, Balata, Mondador link, and much of that has been upgraded, thankfully. But beyond that, now, in terms of getting into the city from Mondador or bypassing the city altogether, there is still a certain amount of work that needs to be done to look at these roads, and especially the Mondador Road. There was an attempt, I do recall, of trying to actually create a rotary system, one way up, one way down, for the lower section of Mondador. So La Panse would be one direction, and Mondador would be in the alternate direction. But that, of course, I think is something that we really have to consider just simply doing full time, given the narrowness of the roads, and given the challenges of bottlenecking that we face. Because the reality is, well, there's quite a bit of on-street parking going on along those roads. Believe it or not, now, this is something that we sometimes take for granted here in St. Lucia. The idea that you can just simply buy a vehicle and park it wherever you so choose, regardless of whether you have a parking spot on your own or not. And the reality is, a lot of people actually own vehicles but don't actually own a parking spot, and they utilize the public road, the public thoroughfare, as their parking and without paying anything whatsoever for it. And we've seen it, of course, especially in the older suburbs, the inner suburbs of the city, the built-up area, where you don't actually have off-street parking, and many times that is the where people decide that they want to park their vehicles. In some countries like Japan, for you to actually purchase a vehicle, believe it or not, you actually have to show that you have an off-street parking location, a guaranteed off-street parking location, which you've paid for, right, within a certain proximity to your house. It may not necessarily be right outside your house, but you've got to be able to show that you've got parking within walking distance, of where you live before you can make a purchase of a vehicle. And that is a realization that, we take sometimes these things for granted, that, people can park wherever they want. It's definitely not the case everywhere. And in some ways, you can see the impacts of that, especially when you now have to do diversions and alternate routes, and our very narrow roads are under pressure. And so that is something that I think we definitely do need to look at and consider moving forward. And of course, moving into the other aspects of tourism, and sorry, the carnival season, the need, of course, to ensure that we um, have a good plan in terms of cleaning up and making sure it gets done in a timely manner. That, I think, is certainly something that needs some improving. It's still a challenge, I think, of police, even the day after, only then taking out, traffic cones and barriers. while we were into the peak hour of people trying to get to work. No doubt could have been very frustrating. And of course, also, um, in some instances, even some of these large flatbed container beds that are just sitting down sort of in the road in some instances. Certainly, those things need to be tightened in terms of how quickly we can get back into normalcy, so to speak, with respect to managing of general services on island. But I think all in all, certainly a major success for the island, and I believe we can only see it growing. The local participation, of course, is something that a lot of people have been questioning. Is this really becoming a carnival, a tourism carnival? And are we losing the soul and the purpose of the cultural aspect of it, which is why it invariably was started back in the 1950s. And we definitely have to look at that aspect carefully. Band numbers have always been a way of seeing how many people are actually participating. And this year, I think there were four major bands, one can say, with, of course, the traditional, very large one of Just for Fun still very much present, but also with Juvo, which has carved a space out for itself, Fusion, and this year as well, in terms of an increase in numbers, a number of revelers, that of Legends. And by my estimation, those four main big bands probably uh, brought in about 5,000 or so people onto the road. But then the other bands, though, I mean, there's definitely still a space for more participation beyond that, and to certainly get bands that kind of fit the pockets of a lot of people is another area definitely needing some attention at this time. But that's our dish of the day. When we come back, we're going to switch gears to see what's happening in the coming week. And in particular, there's a reunion on. It's Rosalie, the northernmost town and district of St. Lucia. They are putting on a reunion, a community reunion. And it's all happening as of this week into next week. So we're going to be speaking to Mr. Bertram Leo, one of the lead organizers of this event, in just a bit.
This has been The Daily Dish.
One tells for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tells for your balcony. Come down to Tells Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tells Plus, Tells Plus, Tells Plus. Big tells with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A plus. Need all kind of tells. Come down to Tells Plus. We are so glad, gas, and vanity. Boss, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tells on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries. Bosses, you Lake, and Flag Street in Viewfort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tells Plus.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And as I said, we're trying to move on beyond Carnival into a lot of other things that are happening. And in fact, bringing in many visitors into St. Lucia. And a particularly interesting one is that of a reunion. Now, sometimes we think of reunions as events that maybe a family may put on, but in some instances, definitely even communities have done that. I think in Dominica as well, they actually put on like a general homecoming at one point in time, trying to bring everybody in the diaspora home. And in particular, in this instance, Grosley is putting on a reunion. And to tell us all about it is Jean Gozile, I guess you could say, a gentleman who has been certainly playing his part in Grosley, but more broadly as well in the diaspora, and his contributions in the overseas associations based in the United Kingdom, but of course, always here in St. Lucia.
Always.
And one of the lead organizers, Mr. Bertram Leo. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Calix, for inviting us to be able to share some of our ideas, thinking, and views of the Rosalie Reunion 2024. In fact, it was a a reunion that should have taken place in 2020, but because of COVID
Mm-hmm.
and various different things, that scuppered, the plans that we had. But we are still steadfast in actually making it happen in 2024. But perhaps before I say that, let me actually say that the Groselay community in Groselay itself has really embraced this reunion. They are very much in favor of it. They have been supporting it. Some of the comments that we've had, has been pretty substantial. So I'm really, really have to take my hat off to our community itself for actually embracing the idea of this Groselay reunion. And the reunion is just not only for overseas, it's really a reunion for the community and the constituency of Groselay, not the town of Groselay, but the constituency of Groselay. And the constituency, as you probably know, is quite wide. It's not just Groselay. When people talk about Groselay, they think it's just Groselay town. But Groselay extends far beyond just the town, including Monchy, Lafayette, Grand Rivière, and La Bonne, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's quite an extensive area that we are actually trying to embrace.
Wonderful indeed. Now, one would immediately say that Groselay is a changing. It's perhaps one of the most dynamic spaces in or regions in Saint Lucia, and certainly over the past 30 years, we've seen that. I mean, maybe before in the 1970s, Groselay was pretty much a very rural part of Saint Lucia. One would think of going to Groselay as being a far off kind of journey. And then since then, the population has grown tremendously. But you do have people who identify themselves, as being a part of that Groselay that predated this massive migration into
we are very
the
much
area.
Groselayans, as you will probably say, and we are Groselayan not just in Groselay itself, but we also Groselay in our own little communities abroad as well. So the extension of Groselay community, not just here, but it also transcends itself from overseas as well. I mean, we have several different activities that we have that we celebrate. Groselay Day, for example. This year we're going to be celebrating 38 years since Groselay became a town. I still remember the time when Groselay, did not have any pitch road; it was still sand. I still have pictures of me walking in Groselay barefoot on the sands of Groselay streets. So, but if we look at the development, the extensive development that have taken place, it has been quite substantial over the last 3-4 decades, and it has changed significantly. I mean, when I left Groselay, I was about 9, 10 years old, and I've come back to a place which is very much advanced in every single respect. So the community itself and the area has transcended itself from what we used to know to what it is now.
Wonderful. Now, actually, we're going to have to take a break, Bertram, because we actually do for our weather report at this time. So we're going to take that in. And when we come back, we continue that conversation about that reunion, which is happening for Groselay.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home.
Really?
Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my number one store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and Vieux Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And good afternoon there. So the 12 noon weather report for today is as follows, and is brought to you by forecaster Vigil Saltibus. The present weather at Hewanora Airport is cloudy, and at George F.L. Charles Airport, partly cloudy. Temperatures at Hewanora, 31 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And last night's minimum temperature recorded was 25 degrees Celsius, or about 77 degrees Fahrenheit. At Hiwanora, again, relative humidity is at about 73%. The winds at Hiwanora are blowing from the east at 14 miles per hour. In terms of rainfall in the 24-hour period ending at 8 o'clock today, so about 10 millimeters of rain at Hiwanora, and GFL Charles 1.1 millimeters. Total rainfall for the month thus far, 161.2 millimeters at Hiwanora, and George F. L. Charles 190.9 millimeters. Sunset today is at 6:35. Sunrise tomorrow at 5:44 a.m. So, onto the forecast. Winds will be blowing between the east and east northeast near 16 miles per hour, about 26 kilometers per hour, with gusts near showers. And the weather will be partly cloudy and hazy, becoming cloudy at times with scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. In terms of the tropical weather outlook, moisture and instability associated with a tropical wave approaching the Lesser Antilles is expected to produce an increase in periods of cloudiness, with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms over the region during the next 24 hours. A plume of Saharan dust haze is expected to cause a reduction in air quality and visibility across the Eastern Caribbean over the next few days. Tropical cyclone formation is not expected over the tropical Atlantic during the next 7 days. And that update came from the St. Lucia Meteorological Services, and mostly out of Hiwanora, and the forecaster there, Mr. Vigil Saltibus. That's our 12 noon weather report.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home.
Really?
Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with the style stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my number one store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and View Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
Caribbean International, and we are speaking on the upcoming Grosley Reunion 2024. 4 years after the fact, perhaps, but thanks to COVID, it's happening now, and at a pretty good time as well.
Yeah.
And Bertrand, I think you've timed this pretty nicely to fit in just after Carnival.
Just after Carnival,
come down,
yeah.
enjoy their Carnival and, as well.
We call it 2 for 1.
A 2-for-1 special.
2 for 1 special.
And of course, Grosley Carnival and Grosley Days
Yes,
usually
yeah.
August 1st.
Yes,
in any
yeah,
case, so you're right in
So,
that.
so with a bonus as well, folding the Grosley Carnival and extravaganza itself, So, but yes, but our reunion, is something that we're all being passionate about. The reunion is very much uniting hearts, celebrating our heritage, and building for a better tomorrow. That's really some of the key themes of this reunion. The last reunion that we had was over 32 years ago, back in 1992. And one of the key things that we're also honoring some of our fathers and mothers who actually staged the first reunion, because many of them are no longer here with us. So it's very much a celebration of their legacy, the work that they did, and the contribution that they made. And these were people both abroad and also those who are here in Grosley itself. They played a critical part and a key part in actually creating the atmosphere, the ambience for this to happen. So again, I'm taking my hat off the community itself, really being so supportive from the time we actually decided we're going to stage the reunion. They have been, overwhelmingly supportive of that. So that has been something which we've really been encouraged about.
Now, I know some communities, perhaps because of their very design and maybe they're perhaps a little bit isolated, especially rural communities, they tend to be very tight knit, and the diaspora
Hmm.
tends to be very, very visible out there. I think of Canaries in particular.
Yes, yeah,
And Canaries has, although it's one of our smallest villages, but a very active diaspora. People who are always, giving back on a very regular basis.
yeah.
The dynamic is a little bit different, I suspect, with Rosalie to
Um,
some degree.
well, just
It's a
to
little
some
bit
degree,
odd.
yeah. I think I can probably speak on that because I have been also the president of the International Association. So, and I've also been the president of the UK Association, and Canary is one of the association that was part and parcel of that group. So we do have various different sectors who are very, very influential and very hands-on. But I think if we look at the history of Grozile itself, some of the associations, both in the UK and the US, have played critical roles, in actually supporting and assisting Grozile when the time has come. And we've, many of those are people who were in part and parcel of that group have now retired back in Grosjean. So again, the support still continues even when they're on the ground here as well. So perhaps we'll not be as visible, but the emphasis and the support still remains. Just to say, some groups, perhaps due to publicity or whatever, are probably able to publicize their contribution perhaps a lot more than others. But the desire is never waning, especially in me. I've been passionate both in supporting Grosile and supporting St. Lucia per se, both in my role as a chairman of the Grosile group and also president of the overseas group. So,
Right.
I wear several hats sometimes, but my passion is still very much my hometown.
And nobody can fault you for that. But now, we were speaking about the changes, of course, and the reality that a lot of people who are now residents of Rosalie
Yeah.
are relatively new into the community, who may have migrated only maybe in the past couple of years, maybe in the past decade or two. And sometimes they don't even really identify with the community. They may still think, "Oh boy, I came from Chozel or I came from
Yeah, yeah,
Astrid,"
yeah,
and they
yeah,
the community dynamic
yeah.
is that they sometimes don't even know who their neighbors are.
Yeah. And I think that's hence the reason why something like a reunion serves an even bigger purpose to unite people, to bring people together. Perhaps people who may not necessarily know who their neighbors are. That might be an opportunity for you to know who your neighbors are, for you to know you had a shared bond with that person. It may be someone who probably was residing 30, 40 years in the same place that you are. So I think hence the reason why the reunion is going to be so significant, so important, because it's going to embrace all these ideals in terms of trying to unite, trying to bring two people together, trying to support communities, and trying to help in the development of our community as well.
You're launching tomorrow, I understand. The
We're
19th, you're
launch
kicking off, yeah?
Yes, on the 19th, we're going to have our launch. I'll probably tell you some of the activities that we probably have on the 19th. We'll be having a welcoming reception, which will be sponsored by the St. Lucian Tourism Authority, and they have been very, very supportive in our activities. In addition to several other key people, the mayor, the parliamentary representative, the HRDC centers. They have all played a critical role in supporting us, and again, I'd like to commend them for the work they have actually done in actually making the reunion a reality. So on the Friday, we kick off with our reunion reception. Following that, we're going to have a procession.
Where is that happening?
The reception will be held in Rodney Bay, and the information in terms of those who were able to be able to attend is actually on our Facebook page.
Wonderful. Grocery Reunion
The
2024.
Grocery Reunion 2024. And following that, we're going to have a procession, within the town, and then stopping close to where we're going to have the Friday night jam. Everyone will be having a T-shirt, and again, I'll probably say something about this T-shirt because the T-shirt we have is something that we thought of carefully. It has the name of every single area that forms the Grosile constituency.
Okay.
So the names on there was really carefully thought of. No
Right.
one has been missed out.
Right.
So the community is all represented by that T-shirt that we have.
So if you see places like Davy and La
Every single La
Riviera,
Viamita,
Ravi Makok, Kazaba,
Kazaba, Mopshi,
Lafe,
Lafayette,
Vesiqui,
basically
every single
all
name is
the
on the
single
shirt.
name of that formulates the Groseley constituency is on that T-shirt, and I
Lovely.
think that's really one of the reasons why we wanted to say we wanted to embrace that everyone is to be a participant,
Right.
and to be involved.
So this is
and to
just
live
not a
within it.
Groseley town
It's
thing.
not
Everybody
just
is
a
in it,
Groseley.
the entire district.
Everyone in the entire district should be a part of it, because we don't know where people have actually migrated to and moved on. People who may have been in Groseley may have moved to La Viamita, or now living in Casablanca, or now in Beausejour since the redevelopment has taken place. So, but the whole essence of that is to try and embrace and to be including every single person.
Fantastic. And so from this reception, you're going straight into Groseley Friday
We're
night.
going straight into Groseley Friday night with a procession, with our flags. Again, we're going to identify the biggest flag will be the St. Lucia flag by all means, but obviously there will be so many different people who came from the various different metropolis who will also be waving their flags. I mean, for example, I've spent most of my time in the UK. I'll probably be waving a St. Lucia flag and a British flag join up together, and I guess other people will be doing that. So we have people from Canada, we have people from the US, we have people from other parts of the Caribbean, we have people from parts of Europe who will be coming. And also, I do know there is a contingency from the UK who's also coming and will be coming during the coming days as well.
Groseley Friday night is perhaps one of the most enduring festivals that we've had. I mean, I know a lot of community festivals that we've actually put on. And some people thought that, it may have waned, but it by all indications, it's not at all. It's actually growing, and it's still very much
and it's still
quite alive and bringing a lot of people and economic opportunities.
It's the life and blood for a lot of small entrepreneurs and small vendors. So it serves a purpose not only as an entertaining event, but also an economic event for the community as well. So it is essential itself.
And one of those must-go-to events. I know for a lot of visitors who come, they always want to at least...
That's right. Sample the Friday night. That's the first thing you tend
as
to
a grounding, you meet a lot of people to be able to go in. And so, of course, it's... but you had left St. Lucia long before this had actually formed.
I left St. Lucia before Friday night actually started. During the time when we used to have the little events. We used to have from time to time, we used to have the Pataclack events, where we used to put them on. It's called Roll and Tumble. I used to have an uncle, these were the kind of games I used to know. These were the entertainment at that time. But now Friday night has superseded everything. And it's a big adventure now for most people. And tourism as well. The country and tourism benefits from that as well. Evidently.
So Friday, that's the launch. What happens next for the weekend?
Friday is the launch. And that will probably set the pace for some of the things that we're going to have. Then following that, on the Saturday, we have a hamper distribution. As I said before, some of the things that we have is not only about entertainment, it's also about giving back to the community and helping the community. So we're going to have a hamper distribution for the less fortunate members within our community to kind of like give back. And some of the members here are actually putting things together. And we're going to be giving 100 different hampers to 100 different people within the community who we regard has actually been needed, and that list has been carefully put together in terms of giving support. So that will be the Saturday. On the Saturday, further in the evening, we're going to have a country and western, because I know the country just love their country and western. Why? I don't know. I'm not a country and western person, but I know the country just love country and western. So hey,
you have to have it included.
Give them what they want. So we're going to have a country and western on the Saturday, and the information is already there. It's going to be held at El Rey Bar, just on the side of the fire and ambulance station.
Right.
And on the Sunday, we're going to have a church service, 7:30 mass. Everyone is invited, all denomination. We are excluding no one. Because this is, as we always said, this is a family event. This is a community event. This is all of us coming together, whether you're from overseas or whether you're on the island itself. So this is what we're going to be doing. And following our church service, we're going to have a lunch for anyone who wants to, again, come and interact with us, come to interact as a community. It's a ticketed event, and the information to purchase the ticket is on our Facebook page, Grosley Reunion 2024. If you want to purchase tickets, you could go on there, or it's actually in places like Castro Bar, etc. You could purchase ticket there. Following that, we will be supporting also some of the other activities that actually happening on the island, because I understood that there is the Grosley Carnival Park and Bacchanal. So we're going to be supporting it as, part of the entertainment sector. So we're going to do that.
So this is the park just after Grosley on the Pigeon Point Causeway.
On the Pigeon Point. I think that's a Grosley event that was actually being done by the community. So
so you're on board with that?
Yeah, we're on board. We are here to support everything, everything community. Now, moving back onto some of our program, on the Monday we have what we classify as a Northern Tour. The Northern Tour is actually going to, most times when people come, they actually want to have a around the island tour, but with so many rich history, cultural activity, and architectural sites that is in the north that no one really knows about, including me. And I thought, wouldn't it be a great feat to actually understand a little bit more about what makes Grosley, and find out some of the key historical sites that are there, and begin to be able to understand and even transcend that to some of my children. As I said, do you know Grosley had a history? It had a slavery past, it had various different colonial pasts, and these are some of the key things that you can have. There's so many things in places like, which are now beginning to change in Cabot, in Cap Estate. There's so many different parts that have so many different things in architectural sites that we should probably be able to.
And even the place names. I mean, we were just talking about this park that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I know for many people from the town of Grosley, they actually know it as De La Batterie.
Yes,
I think it is, which is
Batterie.
behind the battery, which is it's a military
Yeah,
fortification that was actually at that location.
Yeah.
I know another one that is of interest is Mount Pima.
Yes.
But a lot of people in Grosley actually know it as Mount Bougarel. Which is actually the name of the estate owner for that area. So it's a lot of untapped, I suppose, knowledge that has to be exchanged.
And I think that's important in itself. It's good to come for a good entertainment, but it's also good to know, well, what is this place that we call Grosley, and what are the interesting things that are there? And I think a lot of it are lost through generation, and I think it's good that we be able to come back, and regurgitate those things so that new generation can take this information forward and pass it on to others.
Yeah, I mean, even somebody like you growing up probably remember the old road to Grosley and the bridge that we have to get it. But a lot of people in my generation would have no knowledge of that.
And I think some of the people that will actually be supporting us in delivering that information is also critical in terms of analyzing that information, passing it on, and then people being able to say, "Oh, I never really knew this was part and parcel of what was there. I saw it several times, but I never knew." And I think that's really the beauty of this whole reunion exercise that we're doing.
Yeah, and hopefully that can even become something that's permanent, a Grosley tour as part of our tourism product.
We hope so too, and we hope perhaps the reunion itself might be the benchmark that other people tend to follow. The other communities might decide, "Hey, I'd like to do a Vieux Fort reunion or a Soufriere reunion." So we hope it could be a blueprint for others to be able to follow as well.
Now Tuesday, I know you've got something fantastic happening.
L'Histoire Grosley,
Tell us about that.
I mean, the name itself just makes you interested to go and listen. What is the L'Histoire, we're going to say, and that again will be part and parcel of the rich history, culture, heritage, changes that we've actually seen, the various different aspects of what it was before to what it is now. And I think we've got a series of very, very good articulate speakers who are actually going to be immersing us with this kind of information. And I'm sure the event will be an absolutely fantastic one. I don't want to say too much. I just want everyone to come.
Where is it happening? At what time?
It's going to be in Moshi at the HRDC Center. Time will be, I think it's about 6 o'clock, 6:30 start. So by all means, I hope everyone can come and listen to the L'Histoire Gozele. I'm not the expert in there, so I can't give you too much, but I'm sure
But
there'll be
it's a
more
night
than
of
expert. It's a
storytelling,
night of storytelling,
right?
but it's also a night where people will be able to interact and be able to reminisce and recreate information in their heads and
Right.
stories about themselves as well. So there is so much we'll be able to get out from L'Histoire Gozile. So I'm hoping, and I'm sure the amount of feedback I've had so far, both on the ground and for various different quarters, is that it's going to be a well attended and entertaining event. So I'm sure you're looking forward to it. I hope you bring your dad, because I haven't seen him for a while.
Let's see if you come out for that. One of the things I know that I would love to know more about, for instance, I don't know if it'll be even touched, is the names of the streets of Grosley and where some of those came from.
Yeah.
Some of them are kind of obvious, maybe, but
Yeah.
like Beaufair Street, but
Yes,
but
yeah.
others not so clear.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I have got something on street signer, which is part and parcel
As
of
part of
our
your
program,
project, right?
part of the
Yeah,
project,
yes,
that
yes,
we're
yes.
going to do, and I'm supporting that with others who are actually helping me. And in fact, one of the things I've been passionate in, that we wanted to see not only the English colonial equivalent of our sign, but also our own mother tongue,
Okay.
our Creole language. Because one of the things, when you
So you will see La Oui Marie Therese.
you will see La Oui Marie Therese, you know, you will see La Oui l'Église,
Okay,
Church Street,
right,
you know. So, and I think that's good in effect to retain our cultural heritage, to ensure that others, you know, new generation coming forward are able to continue, you know, the legacy that we've actually done. And our street signage will be the final program on our.
So this is another form of giving back to the
Just
community.
another form of giving back, and you know, we're just in the process of finalizing. So it'll be the launch. It'll be the whole street signage, but that will be the launch, and every single every single activity that we have in Grosvenor, we will probably choose a street where we're going to actually you know, not really rename, but rebrand it with proper names, and also the Creole version as well.
Now I know that's one area definitely. Grosley town itself is pretty nice. It has names of streets, but in a lot of other parts of the community, it's lacking, and hopefully that too maybe.
And we're hoping that
for the next reunion or next year.
Well, perhaps not even next reunion, but it's something that will be ongoing.
Okay.
We did not really, because the last reunion was 32 years ago. We don't want to wait another 32 years. I think most of us may not be on this planet at that time, you know. But again, this is something that we really wanted to do. I mean, moving on from the Tuesday after the L'Histoire Gozele, we move on to the Wednesday, where we have a health fair. And the health fair, I have to say nothing about health. We all need to be concerned about health. And we thought it was only important to actually have a health fair. And during that time, we're going to have various different experts come in and give, you know, their opinion, their perspective on how to have healthy living. We'll be covering things like prostate cancer. We'll be covering things like breast cancer. And more importantly, we'll be covering things like diabetes, you know, and how to, you know, look after yourself, etc. We have various different qualified individuals. One of them is a senior lecturer nurse who's actually over here doing some work with St. Jude's Hospital, who I've invited to come to our health fair to give her expertise. But then it will also be other members within the ministry who's actually going to be giving support in terms of testing themselves, checking your blood pressure, you know, looking after yourself, and various different things like that. So it will be a walk-in center, and everyone is invited to come, you know, and share, hear about health, share, you know, we'll be able to share our knowledge. We'll also have an individual here who's got a business here, who will be doing things like eye testing and offering you discount if you decide to come and do your eye testing with a business. So we have an array of different, you know, activities, you know, throughout the health fair.
And where is that happening?
The health fair will be close to the church, just opposite the church in Grosley.
Okay.
You know? And that's something that we are hoping to encourage everyone to participate and turn up. Following that, we'll have a games night, and the games night will be recreating all the old games that we used to think about before, the Wowie, the pataclap, the dominoes, etc. I'm not the expert.
Marbles.
The marble, I'm not the expert, but but we have someone who really knows about all the old games,
Mm-hmm.
and we're hoping that people will be able to immerse themselves in the old ways, the old days when we used to be a community with very little, but we still had our games that kept us, in checks and balance.
But in all honesty, I suppose a lot of people think about Grosley now in terms of sport because
Yes,
you have the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground and you have Grosley playing field. I think has gotten a revamp as well.
And exactly. And I was horrified when I passed on the Grosley playfield, and I saw it was cut. It was, it was barricaded. And I just thought,
Yes.
this is almost like sacrilege because I've always been used to walking on the
field,
the field and going back and waving to my ancestors on the burial site on the other side. So now this means it would barricade in the whole, and I'm not quite comfortable with that one. I'm not too sure. I see the reasons for it, but somehow
I suppose you're gonna have to use all those walls now as murals or something to remember your ancestors.
Well, I'm
or
sure someone will
some
be
historical mural or some sort.
I'm sure someone will become very creative about it as well. Moving on from the game tonight, we will also be supporting a soup kitchen, and this is one of the members who have been doing that on several years. Going to support the soup kitchen, for again the disadvantaged within our community, and we hope we're very, very happy to support that. And following on from the Thursday, we'll have our fundraising gala evening. Again, it's a ticketed event, and we're encouraging people to purchase ticket. One of the things I have to say is that most of the funds that we raise will actually go toward charitable activities and charitable objectives. Grow Well, the 60s Club, the school children, and charities, etc. So most of what we raise will actually return back to charitable activities. So it's not a money-making adventure, but it's also
it's for a pretty good cause.
It's for a pretty good
and that's
cause.
happening on the 26th.
And that will be happening on
at the indoor sports facility
at
the Darren Sam Cricket Ground. Wonderful.
And on the Saturday we have our own local beach party. That's for everybody. We are hoping the whole community comes out to support it. We'll be having events like the Greasy Pole. We're bringing that back, the egg and spoon race on the beach. We'll be looking to try and put the needle and thread, the sack race, and all the old things that we used to do before. We're trying to bring that back. So we hope it's a community sort of like beach party. Where we'll all be able to interact, integrate, and have a really great and happy time. And, so I'm really hoping that the community comes out because it's not a them and us, it is us, in that phrase. And I'm looking forward to our community really supporting the beach party and coming out in droves.
So that's the last major big event.
That's the last major big event.
Yeah, for everybody. And it's free.
And it's free. Yeah, it's a free event for you to come, be supportive, interact with us, interact with one another, and perhaps have a great time with memories attached to it as well.
And it's on the Pigeon Island Causeway.
It's on the Pigeon Island
next to the landing.
Next to the landing as well. Yeah. And the other remaining aspect of things we'll have will be, again, supporting some of the community initiatives that are in play. The Grosley Kiddies Carnival will be held on a Saturday. The Grosley Carnival Queen Show will be held as well.
Right.
Our final event, like I said, will be the street signage, where we'll be looking to actually kickstart the whole street sign project that we've been working on. And again, I'm very encouraged and supported by the HRDC. In particular, Miss Hyacinth and Mr. Dollar and Mr. Frank Samoyes have been very, very helpful in terms of actually, getting us that far. And again, the committee as well, who have been very, very, enthusiastic in making sure that we have a really great reunion. So,
well, this is absolutely fantastic. I have no doubt that a lot of other communities will want to be trying to replicate this community reunion that Grosley has put on. And of course, a lot of hard work. I mean, well over 11 different events.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
Most of them are pretty much free, and of course, some
yeah,
opportunities to give
yeah,
back as
yeah,
well.
exactly. Yeah,
So we
yeah,
do hope that
yeah.
people come out and make the most of it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really about the community. It's not about the overseers or whatever. It's really about the community, and I can't emphasize that enough. It is very much a community event. It's very been supported by some of the key people within the community, and I hope it's seen as a re-embracement of community like community interaction, and we hope we can actually achieve giving back to the community at the same time as well.
Mr. Bertram Leo, thank you so very much for sharing us Groselay Reunion 2024. It's happening between the 19th, kicking off
Yes.
tomorrow, until the 28th of July in Groselay. It's for all parts of Groselay, and a long list of different events. You can check it out at on Facebook, Groselay Reunion 2024. And I mean, you should definitely get onto that Facebook page because there's some lovely photos, historic photos of people, of faces, the old Groselay Village Council of 1954.
That
And
was the first village council.
is that the first one?
That
Huh?
was the formation of the village council in 1954. That was the first village council members.
Wow, so that's 70 years ago. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And the one thing I need to plug, my father was the youngest person on that village council at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's your family as well.
Leonard Carroll Leo, I take it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it now. Thanks for that context right there. And so, yeah, definitely lots of lovely photos of faces of Groselay from the past, and lots of information available on that Facebook page. And again, thank you so very much for sharing with us this wonderful event, the Groselay Reunion, which is launching tomorrow. And of course, happening right up until next weekend as well.
Yeah.
So we do hope that you come out and support it. Thank you
very
very much,
Well,
Bertram.
thank you very much for giving me the time to
And of course,
tackle it a little bit more as to what's going to take place. But
In-
thank you very much.
indeed. And of course, thank you for listening. And we'll be back again tomorrow, God willing, for another program on the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And those kind of shows. You may say goodbye.